I have a little writing here for you before we drown you out with applause. So George is a journalist, a photographer, and an ad agency copywriter. Now, I've known George for years and consider him, like myself, a Renaissance man. And we share a number of things as well, including a love for music. Today he'll be speaking and playing music, and would you please help me welcome George Fuller.
Thank y'all so much for asking me to come. Well, y'all didn't know last week. Two people who don't really know what I sound like, or my songs sound like, asked me to come. I am so tired, y'all. I flew in last night from New York after babysitting for 10 days. 9-month-old. I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought, well, put her to bed, and then I'm all right, it'll be great. She went to bed, I crashed, and next thing I know, she was waking up, so I ain't getting in. So we had a good time. So this is so much fun. I remember when I was reporter for the Courier in the early 70s, writing about the Pensters groups. I wish I could be Pensters. I never came to a meeting. I never even know what y'all did, but I just think Pensters were going to a meeting on Saturday morning. I want y'all to ask questions, really. I want this to be interactive. I'm not a good lecturer. And I want to tell you whatever you want to know. And I can talk not only about songwriting, I can talk a little bit about magazine publishing and about publishing in general. I've been on kind of both sides. Having been in advertising, felt that and the pressures from that side. So if y'all ask questions, John prompted me, because he was saying earlier, he said, I think they're going to want to know about this. Okay, I can't remember what you said. Hey, John, yes.
I think that we would like to hear about, we hear all the time about submitting articles to magazines with cover letters and things like that. What's your thoughts on that, your experience?
I said, formality be damned. That's what I think. And I just met with this good friend of mine who's last week, who's the president of the largest ad agency in the country. And that was basically the gist of her whole strategy these days is that formality be damned, all the rules, throw them out the window. And then everything you've read about how to do a cover letter or what to say, it's just crazy. The most important thing you can do is to understand the audience of the publication you're going to submit something to. You really have to have a deep understanding of the audience and then have a very specific idea and be able to demonstrate very quickly, very, very clearly how this article, this idea that you have might appeal to that target, even if it's a poem. I mean, you've got to understand. I've been in situations and I've gotten feedbacks like, what were you thinking? You don't know my readers. They won't like this at all. And as far as the cover letter is concerned, nobody knows. All the rules are crazy now. Email, so people say email. I know people who don't read email. And they get hundreds and hundreds of emails a day. They just don't read them. So how do you get in touch with an editor? I don't know. Flag him or her down in the parking lot. But I know that you really need to be very, very short and concise. We always talk about elevator speeches, and that's really just boil it down, what you've got, and who it's for, and why this person should want to run it or hire you to write the story or publish a poem or whatever it is. Is that kind of
Yeah, I think that's great. But you mentioned that people don't read emails. Do you think that they would be more apt to open it if there was a letter addressed to them? I mean,
a physical letter?
Yeah.
Well, some people say, yeah. I honestly don't know the answer to that. I've tried all sorts of things. But if you go on a publication, here are all the rules. This is what you need to do to submit something. I don't think they work, really. I just think they get too many submissions, inquiries. Certainly, if true of music, I've been trying to get Spotify's. You don't know Spotify? Yeah. I've been trying to get Spotify's attention for about a year and a half, and I have a son who works there. Son-in-law, rather. He's a recording engineer. There are two of them, and he's one of them, and I still can't get through. So, I know I'm talking to an algorithm, and they don't talk about it. So, it's really tough. But I think that maybe just do something offbeat, something to get there, so set yourself apart. It doesn't have to be stupid or silly, but, okay, now this is in the advertising world, but I think the concept applies. My favorite story about an ad campaign, from New York, a lingerie shop, Fifth Avenue, opened up, and had no money, because all they could do was afford rent, maybe, basically, but they don't have no money for advertising or marketing. The New York Times, what are they going to do? They tore up the concrete, the sidewalk in front of the store, repoured it, it's all wet, and they wrote in it, from down here, it looks like you could use some new underwear. That's all they did. But I mean, so you understand what you need to do. It doesn't need to be expensive, it just needs to be different and very specific. So I was editing the Courier. I moved back here after 25 years in Tampa. Didn't know what I was going to want to do, and I like photography. I thought, well, I'll reinvent myself, I'll be a photographer. So I started shopping my stuff around. This has nothing to do with songs. This is just a, you know, like keys off. It's a product. Right, yeah. I can play it. And I moved back here, and I heard that this guy in Birmingham, he has a publication called Portico Mountain Brook, and he wanted to start one down here, so I asked if I could take photographs. He said, he looked at my website, and he said, yeah. And I had another website, an advertising website, and he looked at that one too. I found it, I don't know how. And he said, it looks like you can write too. And I said, well, thank you, flattered that you think I can. And would you write for us and photograph? I said, sure. He called back the next day, he said, you know what, I'm having an editor. Would you be the editor? I don't know anything about editing. He said, well, are you quasi-responsible human beings? You got to ask other people. So yes, I did. And I ended up being the editor. He said, I'll hold your hand. So I knew very little bit about editing, although he told me, watch out for this. He said, you can do anything you want to do. Really? You don't get paid much, but you can do anything. It's the trail. Do anything you want to do. I said, okay, well, that sounds good. So I did for about 6 issues, and then he decided that he had enough of me. And he called me and said, you know, these stories are so serious. I don't think they were all serious. I think they're, you know, meaningful. And then it just snowballed. I guess he had a lot on his mind. He got a lot off of his chest. I had one phone call, and I called him back the next day. I said, I think you need an editor who really agrees with you. And the toughest thing, I really, being in advertising for all my life, 40 years I've been in this, I should have recognized the fact that really is all about advertising. He didn't care, the publisher please didn't care anything about the content. He didn't care what it looked like. He didn't care about this incredible designer from Tampa that I had working for nothing. He just wanted ads, and I certainly understand that because he kind of wanted maybe to break even once, you know, after 6 issues or so. But you want to be really to do stories on businesses so they would advertise, and that's just a no-no in my world anyway. So I didn't do that. So I don't know. Wish them luck. I don't know what they're doing.
Are they still on?
I don't know. Honestly, I haven't seen. Okay, but yeah, okay, I want to say one thing. Can I jump into the song?
Yeah.
Any more? I don't have to. We can talk about
No, sing.
anything else. Sing. I told John I was going to sing. And sometimes when you're going real quickly. I did a funny thing, y'all, and I was thinking of this just this morning, and this is kind of off of not what I had planned to do, but I have a cousin who is a writer in Atlanta. Her name is Emily Carpenter. She's fairly new too. She has like 4 books out, 4 novels out. And I called her up the other day. I said, I just love the titles. I mean, I thought the books were nice, you know. They were, I know, I would say it's kind of condescending, but no, they're not. I like it. I'm impressed. And she wrote novels, but I love the titles. And I said, would you mind if I just wrote songs about the titles? And then maybe kind of be about the books or not be about the books. She said, geez, do whatever you want. And I thought, well, that was really kind of fun. So the cool thing about being a singer-songwriter, so y'all are writers, right? I'm like a writer who gets to sing his songs and actually get paid for doing that. I've got this, it's just the coolest thing ever. I was like, you know, like going to a reading in a bookstore or reading your poem or a short story and somebody paying for just to do that, not to even buy your book. I mean, I get to sell CDs on top of that. I've got this one song I've been playing forever, and I was thinking of the number of times I've played and gigs I've played. I must have made like $2,000 off of this one song, just by playing it. So that's really, really cool. But so I was thinking that y'all could take titles, find a songwriter somewhere. Maybe, I know this sounds like a stupid idea, but join forces with the songwriter just and write, have somebody write a song about your book too, and as a way to market it. See, I know I can't stop thinking as an advertising person. But anyway, she has a book called The Weight of Lies. Just strolling around the room since I don't have a PA. The weight of her lies are keeping her down, keeping her bound. The weight of her lies. Lies are the heaviest thing on earth. Like they're real. Lies are like a having wings made of lead. There's no taking flight, no making it right. The weight of her lies are bringing her down. Feel free to harmonize. They can keep her down. The weight of her lies. Gospel of grace to keep them in place. The weight of her lies, bringing her down and her bound. The weight of her lies. Great then she is true will now lighter than air, the weight of her life, bringing her down, looking her bound, the weight of her life, the weight of her life. I just wrote this recently, and I can't remember anything anymore. I mean, like don't notice. I was at a Stephen Stills concert not too many years ago, and he's up there singing, you know, love the one you're with, right? And then right in the middle, he just stopped singing. He's like, walks off stage, and we're like, band stops. They all walk off stage. She was like, okay, this thing just started. And then nobody said anything. 10 minutes later, they walked back on stage and just started singing again. We found out later he'd had a little teleprompter down below where we couldn't see, and it had gone out. Like, I'm trying to read the words. Love me when you're, and what? You know, and then I heard Sheryl Crow, an interview once, live. I mean, well, it's on Fresh Air, I write. I was really loud for some. They said, Terry Crow said, "Can you play one of your old songs?" She said, "Oh, I love this song." She said, "Yeah, I love that one too." She started singing it. She said, "Love," and she stopped. stopped. She said, I just don't remember this. 150 times, and I cannot remember it. So, cut me.
I have a question, George. George. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you, John. Okay, so as a writer, the hardest thing I have to do is get my head and my heart coherent and get it out there. You might not have a problem with that. Do you, like between your head and your heart and trying to do, and then go back and edit and edit? Yeah, right. I did.
Well, I don't write with my head. The heart always wins. You know,
Yeah, and I love the song. I love that song. I love those minor keys and all that going on with lying. I think really fits in wonderfully. I thought that, you know, there was a lot of heart in there.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's, I don't know if the head has any place in anything. I don't know. But, and there's a huge thick book, you know, Martin Lano, and you all know Martin Lano gave me a huge book of how songwriters write, and every single one of them has a different method. For me, it's just I get like an idea or something like it's odd for me to actually see something like a title of a book, and I'll write a song about that. I just get an idea and I write the idea down. I must have, you know, I have tons of ideas. Very few of them I have the discipline to sit down and write, turn into an actual song. But it's fun for me to, I mean, I have a couple of songs that are autobiographical, and a lot of them sound autobiographical. People like get really nervous about, you know, like, you really feel that way?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just trying to put myself in somebody else's shoes. And that's probably the most fun thing for me, is to imagine what you do with characters of a book, you know, just get inside their head, develop that person. Well, I develop the person or a situation that person might be in. Do you have a question?
Well, you already answered it. I was going to ask, you know, do you start with writing the words and then come up with a tune, or do you sometimes come up with a tune and put words to it, and what is that?
Mostly I write the words and then come up with a tune, you know, just write the words to a metronome. And it looks like love is coming, you know, that kind of thing, just making sure it fits, but without a tune. And then I write a tune later. Or I like to co-write. I've co-written a bunch. Fun thing for me to do is I'll have maybe have sort of a tune in mind or even a meter, give the lyrics to somebody else, it comes back completely different. So different. I did it in my latest album I did with Anthony Crawford, who's part of the duo Sugarcane Jane, if y'all know that. Has a recording studio in Loxley. And I did like I had read other really great songwriters I admire had done. You write the song and then you just surrender. You give it to a producer and you say, okay, interpret it, do whatever you think it needs. Some of the songs that Anthony did, who plays every instrument known to man, by the way, I had never expected. I mean, I never heard it, but I liked it. It was fun. It was really, really. Yes, sir.
Hey, I just wanted to ask you if you had done the opposite, if you had written a song and then given it over to somebody to write music.
Yes, I have written lyrics. I've actually written the whole song, and that's what some songwriters do. They're like, oh, I can like, okay, I'm gonna on the road again, can't wait on the road again, eating cake tomorrow. You know, they just change. They have a song in mind, and they write the lyrics to that, and then they give it to somebody else who had no idea what song they had in their head, and that's kind of cool too. Anyway, it's fun to think about. I want to play y'all. You know what? Yes. Oh.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think, because I was a writer in Nashville for a while, I think that I did a lot of writing in my car versus when you're writing a book, you can't really write in your car because we're not supposed to be on our cell phones dictating things we're thinking in my book. But in the car, you know, you're by yourself. I like to watch cars. I like to watch people sing in cars because, you know.
Maybe what would you do? Would you pull
Have you
over?
ever noticed that, you know, like people do all kinds of things in the car, like they think other people can't stand in their cars?
Oh, no, never.
You see people like driving down the street singing, and you're thinking, are you singing to the radio or are you writing a song? Because it's so easy to write those songs in the car.
And you've written songs in the car? You're way better than me.
I just have to remember when I get out, so I can, you know, go home.
I pulled over and written
written
down little ideas and
Yeah.
snippets and explored that.
Yeah, but a lot of it comes, you know, just in the quietness of the car.
I'm going to play a snippet of the first song I ever wrote. And actually, Judith, if you've heard this song, you totally will have forgotten it because it wasn't that memorable. But it was the first song I ever wrote. And I wrote it with a woman named Julie Pittman, who is still around. She and I met in 1975. I was a reporter for the Courier. And we were sitting on her porch, not far from here. And she said, you know, anybody can write a country song. They're just so stupid that it's so easy just to record. Anybody can write a country song. I went, really? Okay, well, let's do it. So she wrote these lyrics, and I don't think she has written a song ever since. But she wrote, and I put it to made up a little tune. And it was definitely not a country song. I didn't know what I was doing, but I met your mother and I was surprised. She's not like my mom at all. You're like a brother, the pain in your eyes, of the whole world of hurts I recall. Your sister's my sister, your friends were mine. Your heart is heavy, mine won't be light until your life is full again. You're feeling fine. That's a waltz. I went, damn, waltzes in country music. Well, that's as good as I can do. There's a few little musical moments in my career. That was a big one. That was sort of like, well, maybe I can write some songs. And then I met, and I want to mention this because it has particular importance to me, a woman named Claire Cloninger. Y'all know Claire? Yeah. She just died recently of Alzheimer's. I met her in 1974. She wanted to be a songwriter. She was, but she was playing the instruments, and she was a lyricist. I played guitar, so we got together. We wrote about 8 songs together. We recorded them at WABB Studios as demos. It was so funny. And one song, let's see if I remember it. Your Good Trip. Seem like forever, Here we go. Okay, I've got it right. See, I used to sing in E, now I can't, it's too high, so I do everything transposed to D, and I went like, geez, I forgot to record it. Took a trip, seemed like forever, but I never left the inside of my mind. Reaching out for something different. The only dreams I needed were the dreams I'd left behind. Looking for the answers to questions I had never even asked. So busy looking for the future that I forgot the past. Ruby slippers take me back to Kansas, back inside the circle of the warmest love I've known. Back to golden grain painted rainbows, how they shone. Ruby slippers now, no, you can hear it coming, right? There's no place like home. Well, that's just part of it. Jerry singing that song because she was just so wonderful. When we moved back from, we were in Tampa for 20 years, incredible. So I played my songs, you know, and people were courteous. He played his songs, and they were a lot more courteous. I can never write songs like that. I quit. I just totally quit writing. I just, you know, and I shouldn't have, and I'm not proud to admit it, but I just couldn't write anything for years. And then I started working for ad agencies, and I said, you know what, I can write silly songs. That's all right. You know, I have to be serious. So I can think of myself not so seriously, and maybe I can get past it. So along came these women from Spring Hill College. They were in the marketing department, and somehow somebody talked me into giving away a song at an auction, like a silent auction. So they bought a song for $30. So for $30, I went like, a song to Spring Hill College. What do y'all? We want a fight song. I went, oh, okay, a fight song. I went, fight song? I was just, you know, I was in my non-conformist period, you know, and I'm thinking, Go Alabama, Kansas ride, every Alabama. Hey, just ride, go teach the Bulldogs too. But you know, remember, that's not my story. Anyway, so I wrote this song, and I played it for them. They did not know what to say. and I was so naive to think that they would say anything. But, and then they went, thanks. She said, do you have anything else? I went, for $30? Everything else for $30, but I'll play it for you, just a little snippet, and you'll see why they were. High school's just a memory, those days are on the wane. I left Ted Nugent with my sister, turned to go insane. I got myself a knowledge and more security. Post-secondary happiness, I'm working on a liberal arts degree. Well, my liberal arts degree is the only thing that'll protect me when I'm the scourge of the adult world. A little further, my sense of security, and you can buy me a grill. I get from reciting wills. Some people say I'm hung up on Shakespeare, but nobody calls me here coming. The fool on the hill. And I totally had lost them. Got a couple more verses, but they were gone. And then so in subsequent years, we wrote silly songs like what are some of the things we credit card. I started writing with an art director partner of mine. Credit card bride, things like, you know, it's like, you need a new, somebody asked me, people kept asking me to sing the wedding song. Remember that? Yeah. He's now to be among you, calling of your heart. So I thought, we need a new wedding song. So we kind of, I was standing at the altar, staring at my rear, when everyone was praying, you whispered in my ear, what's that in your wallet? Why is this so thick? Don't tell me wallet photos, I know that trick. You got a plastic in your pocket, charging in your eyes, 90 days, same as cash. What a great disguise. You can buy it from the Sears store. You can tell how old this song is. Buy it all from Wards. Buy it from True Value. It's in the cards. Oh no, it's only plastic. It wants a little bride. Polyvinyl chloride. Oh, those squares with printed size. I know it smells like money. It's really not the same. Pull out anything you want and sign your name. You got plastic in your pocket and charging in your eyes. 90 days, same as cash. What a great disguise. You can buy it from the Sears store. Buy it all from Wards. Buy it from True Value. Here comes the line. I know you'll, the end of this thing, you'll know in a minute. You can place the year. Diners Club, American Express, MasterCard, Visa, and the rest. I got them all, and you can have free. I'm your credit card. I'm your credit card. I'm your credit card. Don't leave home without me.
Credit card companies buy that?
No, you know, we would do, in advertising, you just do what the advertiser wants you to do, and anything you can do on your own time is like such a relief. We didn't have to go any further than our living room. We probably shouldn't.
Yeah, how was that a wedding song?
Wedding? It's about a wedding. It's about a wedding. You want a little bride?
Sorry, I don't see
it. But, so then I got, actually after fulfilling my quota, do I have any more time? 10 minutes, okay. Then I really got serious, and I was doing a lot of music in Toronto, music for television spots, scoring. So I was up there a lot and got to know this one studio owner. I became friends with him, and he, at some point, he's a musician, so we were playing around. He said, "Why don't you record some of your own songs?" I said, "Really?" So I played a few for him. He said, "Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. Let's record them." Okay. Anyway, that's when I decided, well, maybe I can do this stuff, even if it's only for me. I can be serious. And this is I've written 2 autobiographical songs. Any of y'all ever have a 17-year-old daughter? Remember what that was like? It's like, oh my God, she's good. Who is that guy? How many tattoos does he have? So I wrote this song about my daughter. Like love is coming. For you, you lose the red pajamas. I can hear it getting nearer. Sounding like it really needs a muffler. Annie, Mom, and I hoping was a native grader. Is he by any chance a vegan? Does he know that you are perfect? Everything that she does is sweet. Everything that she does is pure. Everything that she does. Pretending that you want to stay forever. Don't you worry about our feelings. Just worry about that muffler. Everything that she does is sweet. Everything that she does is pure. Everything that she does, What's he made of? What's he made of? Past the tattoo of a monkey. I don't have the heart to tell you. He may not be as sweet as you. Turn up, sorry. Anyways, he's a social worker in New York, and so it all worked out. That is on my latest album, which is available, although I'm paying to admit it, free on Spotify. Everybody's remember Spotify. George Fuller the Third, there are 2 albums are there. And you can also go to my website, georgefullerthethird.com. The third is spelled out, Thethird. So, but I don't actually always, I don't do just pretty songs. I was playing this one song. Let's play this one more. Is that okay?
We want to end on a high note, so
Well, I think it's a high note. It might be a little, no, the song ends on a high note. You don't think it. But this song is a little bit dark. But I was playing at that house concert a few months ago. This woman off to the side. They were so nice, these people. So nice. And she was just like smiling and thinking. And I stopped right in the middle of the song and said, "What is it? This is a dark, depressing song. Why are you smiling?" I don't know. About a friend of mine who's going through a divorce. sunshine this day. No picnic in the park. This bed of nails. I watch the birds gap. Oops, I forgot the words already. It's like I've never felt. Actions have been taken and consequences dealt through from this bed of nails. This bed of nails. I want to reach for you, but every move I make hurts everything I do. From this bed of nails, I watch a bird fly by. Why can't Ella be like that? He hardly has to try. Oh, from this bed of nails. Well, I went to sleep all numb with love and woke up feeling hurt. The pity like a tortured thing. No more love. This bed of nails, I'm suddenly aware. Just the good part. Suddenly aware that you're the one in pain. More than you can bear. So from this bed of nails to the one who was my wife, well, I'll hold on to the floor and back into your life. Oh, from this bed of nails, from this bed of
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you ever write, have you ever written jingles to sell, or is that something that's in?
Yeah. Run for the Alabama Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo once, so. Yes, sir.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
Don't. Wait, maybe I do. I'll have to ask my son.
Hey, George, but can people just buy a regular CD from you?
No. That's the short answer, right? I don't have any CDs. Everything is streamable. My website you can download, Spotify you can stream for free. Yes, sir, Ben.
I'd just like to say how much I admire songwriters. It takes me 80 to 100,000 words to tell a story, and a songwriter can get the emotion out in a 3 to 5 minute song. It's just amazing to me when I listen to a songwriter's work.
I am.
Thank you very much, George, that was wonderful. And, yeah, I guess that was kind of a happy ending.